First contact deception. The galactic Concordat's observation post hung silently in the shadow of Jupiter's largest moon, Ganymede. Senior observer Vextel's crystalline fingers danced across the holographic interface as she compiled her latest report on humanity. After 3 years of covert surveillance, she believed she had the species thoroughly understood. Primitive, fractious, and at least 2 centuries away from achieving meaningful space travel. Her report noted their quaint chemical rockets, their clumsy space stations, and their painfully slow progress toward colonizing their red neighbor, Mars. She particularly emphasized their constant internal conflicts, which surely indicated a species far from ready for galactic society. The Concordat would classify them as a Category 3 pre-spacefaring civilization and move on to more promising sectors. How wrong she was. Deep beneath Europa's icy surface, Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the heart of humanity's most advanced command center, monitoring the alien observation post through quantum sensors that the Concordat didn't even know existed. The holographic displays surrounding her showed not just the observer's location, but a complete analysis of their technology, capabilities, and communications. Status report, she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Commander Jackson stepped forward, his dark skin illuminated by the soft blue glow of the displays. The Concordat continues to buy our cover story, Admiral. Their latest transmission indicates they're about to classify us as a non-threat. A slight smile crossed Chen's face. Excellent. And the hegemony fleet. As predicted, they're using the Concordat's data to plan their invasion. Long-range sensors detect 37 warships entering the Kuiper Belt. They're being sloppy. The Crixian hegemony had a reputation for attacking worlds shortly after the Concordat deemed them primitive. It was a pattern humanity had observed for decades through their quantum surveillance network. A network that, by all rights, they shouldn't have been able to create for another 1,000 years. But necessity, as humanity had learned long ago, was the mother of invention. When the first quantum sensors detected alien civilizations in 2047, Earth's governments had made an unprecedented decision. Unite in secret and prepare for the worst, while maintaining a carefully crafted image of technological backwardness. Time to show our hand, Commander Jackson asked, though he already knew the answer. Admiral Chen nodded. Initiate Operation Phantom Dawn. Let's give our visitors a proper welcome. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began to power up. Within the asteroid belt, seemingly ordinary rocks split apart to reveal automated defense platforms. Beneath the surfaces of Mars and Venus, vast hangar doors prepared to open. And in the Orc cloud, humanity's true fleet, ships that had been practicing and perfecting their tactics for decades, moved into position. Aboard the Concordat observation post, Vextel's routine evening took an unexpected turn when her sensors detected the hegemony fleet. Her crystalline form pulsed with anxiety. She had to warn these primitives, give them some chance to prepare, even if it meant violating the non-interference protocols. But before she could act, her sensors exploded with data. Massive energy signatures erupted throughout the solar system. Hundreds of ships seemed to materialize from nowhere, their designs unlike anything in the Concordat database. They moved with impossible precision, executing maneuvers that spoke of years of practiced coordination. Impossible, she whispered, her crystalline form flickering with shock. A transmission cut through all frequencies, broadcasting in perfect Concordat standard. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet to all hegemony vessels. You have entered restricted space and are on an apparent invasion vector. You have 30 seconds to reverse course, or we will respond with appropriate force. The hegemony fleet, caught completely off guard, scattered into a defensive formation. Their commander, war leader Krixtor, had expected to find a helpless primitive world. Instead, his sensors showed him a force that outnumbered his own 3-to-1, using technology that by all rights shouldn't exist. Impossible, he snarled, unconsciously echoing Vextel's words. Their ships, They're using gravitic propulsion, quantum shielding. How did they hide this? The 30 seconds passed. What followed would be discussed in Concordat strategic academies for centuries to come. The Earth Defense Fleet moved like a single organism, executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. Their weapons bypassed hegemony shields as if they didn't exist. Ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking from impossible angles. From her command center beneath Europa, Admiral Chen watched the battle with grim satisfaction. Humanity had spent 70 years preparing for this moment, developing technologies and tactics that no one would expect from a primitive species. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes. When it ended, the hegemony fleet was in ruins, and humanity's message to the galaxy was clear: we are not what we seem. In the aftermath, as Vextol frantically composed emergency reports to the Concordat Council, she received a request for communication from the humans. On her screen appeared Admiral Chen, wearing a simple blue uniform with minimal adornments. "Senior Observer Vextol," Chen said with a small smile. "I believe it's time we had an honest conversation about humanity's place in the galaxy. We've been watching you watching us, and we have so much to discuss." As Vextol stared at the human admiral, she realized that everything the Concordat thought they knew about humanity was wrong. They weren't primitive. They were patient. They weren't fractious. They were practicing. And they weren't slow to advance. They were simply making sure they were ready. The age of humanity's false modesty was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Hidden Fleet. The news of humanity's deception spread through the Concordat's communication networks like a supernova. In the great crystal spire of harmonious discourse, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to discuss the implications of what had happened in the Sol system. High Counselor Zix Mathia, her bioluminescent tendrils pulsing with agitation, addressed the assembly. The humans didn't just hide their capabilities. They fundamentally altered our understanding of technological progression. Their quantum-shifting drives alone represent an advancement that should have taken centuries to develop. In the viewing chamber above them, a holographic replay showed the Earth Defense Fleet's battle with the hegemony. Ships phased in and out of normal space, weapons struck with surgical precision, and defensive systems adapted in real time to enemy attacks. It was a display of military prowess that had shaken the galaxy's power structures to their core. Aboard the EDF flagship Artemis, Admiral Chen was reviewing the aftermath of their revelation. The massive vessel, hidden for decades within a hollowed-out asteroid, now cruised openly through the solar system's outer reaches. Its quantum blast viewport offered a clear view of Neptune's blue storms, while its sensors monitored the increasing number of alien vessels gathering at the system's edge. "They're scared," Commander Jackson observed, studying the tactical display. "Every major power in the sector is sending observation ships. The hegemony has withdrawn all forces within 50 light-years of Earth." Chen nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Fear isn't what we wanted, David. But it's better than the alternative. How's our guest settling in?" Senior Observer Vextol had accepted humanity's invitation to tour their true facilities. Now she stood in the Artemis's engineering bay, her crystalline form trembling with a mixture of awe and scientific excitement, as Chief Engineer Maria Santos explained the principles behind their quantum-shifting drive. "The key breakthrough," Santos explained, generating a holographic model, "came when we stopped trying to break the laws of physics and started working with them instead. Traditional FTL attempts to punch through space-time. We learned to slide between its layers." Vextol's translator struggled to convert her response into human speech. But the energy requirements, the computational power needed to calculate safe passages through quantum layers, Santos smiled, would be impossible with normal computers, yes. That's why we developed quantum crystal matrices. Actually, your physical form helped inspire some of our breakthroughs. We've been studying the Concordat longer than you might think. The truth was, humanity had known about the galaxy's civilizations for far longer than anyone suspected. In 2047, when a young physicist named James Chen, Admiral Chen's grandfather, detected the first quantum echoes of alien communications, Earth's nations had faced a choice: announce their discovery and hope for the best, or prepare in secret. They chose preparation. Underground cities were built. Asteroid bases were hollowed out. The world's brightest minds were recruited into a shadow program that officially didn't exist. On the surface, nations continued their petty squabbles and launched primitive rockets. Below, they built something unprecedented: a unified human civilization dedicated to survival. In the Artemis Tactical Center, Commander Jackson pulled up new sensor data. "Admiral, we're detecting increased quantum fluctuations from the hegemony border. They're mobilizing their reserve fleets." "As expected," Chen replied. "They can't accept the change in status quo." "Has Ambassador Richards reached the Concordat capital?" "Yes, ma'am. He's scheduled to address the Council in 6 hours. Meanwhile, the Proxima defense grid is fully operational. If the hegemony wants to test us again, they'll find we have more surprises waiting." The Proxima system had been humanity's first extrasolar colonization effort, though no one beyond Earth knew it existed. While the public space program made a great show of struggling to reach Mars, automated constructors had been building a fortress system around Earth's nearest stellar neighbor. In her quarters that evening, Admiral Chen reviewed the classified files that documented humanity's secret journey to this moment. The first alien ship detected entering the solar system in 2052. The recovery of advanced technology from a crashed scout ship in the Kuiper Belt in 2064. The decision to maintain the facade of a primitive civilization while learning everything they could about the galaxy's true nature. A message flashed on her screen. The hegemony had issued an official protest to the Concordat, claiming humanity had violated technological development protocols. Chen allowed herself a small smile. They still didn't understand. Humanity hadn't violated protocols. They had simply never signed them in the first place. "Admiral to the bridge," the ship's AI announced. "Priority signal from Proxima Command." As Chen made her way through the Artemis corridors, she reflected on humanity's unique path to the stars. Other races had developed openly, sharing their discoveries and joining the galactic community as soon as they could. Humanity, shaped by centuries of conflict and countless stories of alien invasions, had chosen a different path. They had hidden. They had watched. They had learned. And they had prepared. Now, as the galaxy struggled to understand this new power that had emerged in their midst, humanity stood ready, not as the primitive civilization everyone had expected, but as something far more dangerous, a species that had spent generations preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. The hidden fleet was hidden no longer, and its revelation was just the beginning. Operation Thunderstrike. The hegemony made their move on a quiet Tuesday morning, Earth time. Their attack came not at Earth, as expected, but at the human colony in the Ta Ceti system, a colony that, officially, didn't exist. Deep within the Lunar Command Center, General Maya Patel watched the quantum sensor feeds with cold fury. The hegemony had committed nearly 300 ships to this operation, clearly believing they had found humanity's weak point. Their intelligence suggested the Ta Ceti system was newly settled, vulnerable, and lacking in major defenses. Their intelligence was wrong. "All units, execute Operation Thunderstrike," Patel ordered. Her voice carried instantly across 40 light-years by quantum entanglement communicators. "Show them why humanity doesn't believe in keeping all its eggs in one basket." The hegemony fleet approached the seemingly defenseless human colony on Ta Ceti IV with confidence. Their sensors showed only a small settlement, a few orbital platforms, and some primitive defense satellites. War leader Krixtor, seeking to redeem himself after his previous failure, had personally commanded this operation. The first sign that something was wrong came when their long-range sensors suddenly went dark. Then their quantum communications failed. Finally, their shields flickered and died, disabled by frequencies they hadn't known existed. From the surface of Ta Ceti IV, massive doors opened in the planet's ice caps, revealing launch bays that had been built years before the first civilian colonist arrived. From the system's asteroid belt, seemingly lifeless rocks transformed into automated battle platforms. And from beneath the surface of the system's gas giant, humanity's second-largest fleet emerged from its hidden docks. War Leader, his tactical officer reported, voice trembling, "We're detecting quantum signatures. Everywhere. They're rising from the planet. The moons, the asteroids. They're all around us." Krixtor watched in horror as his carefully planned assault turned into a tactical nightmare. Human ships appeared to teleport across space, their quantum-shifting drives making conventional combat impossible. Their weapons ignored shields, their defenses adapted to every attack, and their strategies seemed to anticipate his every move. In Lunar Command, General Patel allowed herself a grim smile. The hegemony had fallen for humanity's oldest trick. They had attacked what they thought was their enemy's weakness, only to find themselves caught in an elaborate trap. "Status report," she commanded. "Phase 1 complete, General," her AI assistant reported. "Enemy fleet is fully contained within the quantum suppression field. Their FTL capabilities are neutralized, and their communications are blocked. The Tav City Defense Fleet reports ready for Phase 2. The Tav City Defense Fleet, commanded by Admiral Helena Rodriguez, had spent 5 years preparing for this moment. While civilian colonists built their homes and farms on the surface, military engineers had transformed the entire star system into a fortress. Every asteroid, every moon, every planetary feature had been weaponized or fortified. Rodriguez's flagship, the Hyperion, emerged from its hiding place in the system's Oort cloud. The massive vessel represented humanity's latest achievements in military technology, a ship that could manipulate gravity itself as a weapon. "All units, execute Phase 2, Rodriguez ordered. "Remind the hegemony why humanity spent so long hiding its strength." What followed was not so much a battle as a demonstration. Human ships danced through space, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. Graviton beams from the Hyperion turned the enemy's own mass against them, crushing their ships into compact spheres. Automated platforms unleashed swarms of self-replicating nanite weapons that ate through hull plating like acid through paper. In the Concordat's Great Assembly Hall, representatives watched the battle through their quantum feeds. The humans hadn't just prepared for war. They had revolutionized it. Every technology they revealed showed decades of refinement and testing. Every tactic demonstrated countless hours of simulation and practice. "We should have known," High Counselor Zix Mathia whispered to her advisors. "A species that spent its entire history fighting itself would naturally approach space warfare differently. They didn't develop technology along our predicted paths because they were always looking for advantages we couldn't imagine." The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, the hegemony fleet had been completely neutralized, not destroyed. The humans had deliberately taken their enemies alive. Nearly 50,000 hegemony crew members found themselves in custody, their ships captured mostly intact. "Send the message," General Patel ordered from Lunar Command. Throughout known space, on every frequency and quantum channel, humanity broadcast their statement to all civilizations of the galaxy. "The Sol Confederation extends greetings. We regret the necessity of today's demonstration, but the unprovoked attack on our colony could not go unanswered. We remain open to peaceful dialogue with all species, including the hegemony. However, we will respond decisively to any further aggression." In the aftermath, as the galaxy tried to process what they had witnessed, humanity revealed another surprise. The captured hegemony crews were treated not as prisoners but as guests. They received medical care, comfortable accommodations, and the opportunity to learn about the species they had tried to conquer. "Let them see who we really are," Admiral Chen had advised when planning this response. "Let them understand that humanity's strength lies not just in our weapons, but in our capacity for both justice and mercy." The message was clear. Humanity had not spent 70 years preparing for war because they wanted to fight. They had prepared because they wanted to survive, to thrive, and ultimately, to forge a better future for all species. Operation Thunderstrike marked the end of the galaxy's attempts to test human resolve through force. But it marked the beginning of something far more interesting, the galaxy's attempt to understand just what kind of civilization humanity had become during its long years of preparation and secrecy. The diplomatic gambit. Ambassador Marcus Richards stood before the Galactic Concordat's High Council, his simple black uniform a stark contrast to the ornate robes of the assembled alien representatives. The great chamber, with its soaring crystal spires and quantum light displays, had been designed to humble visitors. But Richards had spent decades preparing for this moment. "Distinguished members of the council," he began, his voice clear and measured, "I come before you not to apologize for humanity's deception, but to explain it, and more importantly, to offer a partnership that could transform our galaxy." The chamber's quantum translation field ensured every species present understood his words perfectly. High Counselor Zix Mathia's bioluminescent patterns shifted with interest as she responded. "You speak of partnership, Ambassador, yet your species spent decades deliberately misleading the galactic community. How can we trust anything humans say?" Richard smiled. "Trust is earned through actions, not words. That's why I'm here to extend an invitation. The Sol Confederation would like to host representatives from every spacefaring civilization at our Titan Research Complex. We're prepared to share some of our technological developments, particularly those that could benefit all species." The chamber erupted in murmurs and biochemical signals of surprise. The Titan Research Complex was another revelation, a massive facility hidden beneath the surface of Saturn's largest moon, where human scientists had quietly worked on technologies that defied conventional understanding of physics. On Earth, Admiral Chen watched the council session through a quantum feed in her office beneath Mount Fuji. The facility, like so many of humanity's true achievements, had been built in secret decades ago. "He's handling them well," she observed to her aide, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka. "Yes, Ma'am," Tanaka agreed. "But do you think sharing our technology is wise? The Council's own records show how advanced technology has often destabilized younger civilizations." Chen's response was interrupted by a priority alert. The quantum sensors had detected unusual activity in the hegemony home system. "Put it on screen," she ordered. The display showed chaos. The hegemony, shaken by their defeats and the treatment of their captured forces, was experiencing political upheaval. The warrior caste that had dominated their civilization for millennia was being challenged by reformers who had been inspired by their exposure to human culture. "Fascinating," Chen murmured. "We didn't just defeat them. We made them question their entire way of life." Back in the council chamber, Richards was addressing the very issue of technological sharing. "We understand the risks of unrestricted technology transfer," he explained. "That's why we're proposing a graduated exchange program. We'll begin with technologies that improve quality of life, medical advances, environmental restoration techniques, sustainable energy systems. Military technology will only be shared in the context of mutual defense agreements." A representative of the Silicon Consciousness, an alliance of artificial intelligences, raised an objection. "Your development path defies all known models of technological progression. Our analyses suggest you should have required at least another millennium to achieve your current level of advancement. How did you manage this?" Richards activated a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed the history of human scientific development, but from a perspective none of the aliens had considered. "We took a different approach," he explained. "While most civilizations develop their technologies sequentially, we developed them in parallel. While our public space program used chemical rockets, our secret programs were experimenting with quantum physics. While we appeared to struggle with basic AI, we were actually developing quantum consciousness systems. We turned our paranoia into an advantage, preparing for threats that hadn't yet materialized." The display shifted to show the true extent of human settlement in nearby star systems. Hidden colonies, research stations, and defense installations revealed humanity's reach extended far beyond what anyone had suspected. In her office, Admiral Chen received another alert. The quantum sensors had detected a transmission from deep space, far beyond the known boundaries of galactic civilization. The pattern was unlike anything in their database. New players entering the game, she mused. We revealed ourselves just in time. The council session continued for hours as Richards outlined humanity's proposal for galactic cooperation. The Sol Confederation wasn't seeking to dominate. They wanted to help create a more stable, prosperous galaxy. Their decades of hidden preparation hadn't just been about defense. They'd been working on solutions to problems that affected all spacefaring civilizations. By the session's end, even the most skeptical council members were showing signs of interest. The humans had demonstrated not just military power, but technological innovation that could benefit everyone. More importantly, they had shown wisdom in how they proposed to share it. As Richards concluded his presentation, he saved the most surprising revelation for last. There's one more thing, he said, activating a final holographic display. Our quantum sensors have detected something approaching from intergalactic space. We believe all of us together will need to prepare for what's coming. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't spent 70 years preparing just for the known galaxy. They had somehow detected threats that even the oldest civilizations hadn't noticed, and they had prepared accordingly. The diplomatic gambit was transforming into something far more significant. The beginning of a new era of galactic cooperation, sparked by a species that everyone had underestimated. New dawn. The intergalactic signal grew stronger with each passing day. In the quantum observation chamber beneath Europa, Admiral Chen studied the data with representatives from 20 different species. The hegemony's former war leader Krixtor, now serving as their diplomatic liaison, stood beside Concordat senior observer Vextal as they watched the patterns unfold. The signal matches nothing in any of our databases, Vextal noted, her crystalline form pulsing with concern. How did your quantum sensors detect this when our civilizations missed it? Chen gestured to Dr. James Chen, her grandfather, who had recently emerged from decades of secretive research. The elderly physicist stepped forward, his eyes bright with the same intensity that had driven him to make his breakthrough discovery nearly 70 years ago. We weren't looking for conventional transmissions, he explained. Our quantum detection system was designed to notice disturbances in the fabric of space-time itself. Whatever's coming isn't just crossing space, it's warping reality around it. In the months following humanity's diplomatic revelation, the galaxy had transformed. The Titan Research Complex had become a hub of unprecedented cooperation, with scientists from hundreds of species working together to understand and expand upon human innovations. The hegemony, under its reformed government, had redirected its military industry toward exploration and defense. But now, facing an unknown threat from beyond the galaxy, every species recognized the wisdom of humanity's long preparation. The Sol Confederation's hidden colonies, massive defense networks, and advanced technology hadn't just been paranoia. They were about to become the foundation of galactic survival. Multiple quantum distortions detected, announced the facility's eye. They're appearing at the galaxy's edge. The assembled representatives watched as dark shapes emerged from the void between galaxies. They were vast, geometrically impossible structures that seemed to exist in more dimensions than space should allow. Traditional sensors couldn't even detect them. Only humanity's quantum observation systems could track their movement. They're not ships, Dr. Chen said quietly. They're tiers in reality itself. Someone, or something, is trying to enter our galaxy by breaking the laws of physics. Admiral Chen straightened her uniform. This is what we prepared for. Not just war with other species, but threats nobody could have imagined. She turned to address the gathered representatives. 70 years ago, our quantum sensors detected echoes of these entities. We knew we weren't ready then. But we didn't just build weapons and ships. We developed ways to reinforce the fabric of space-time itself. The Titan Research Complex revealed its final secret. Beneath the icy surface of Saturn's moon lay not just laboratories and manufacturing facilities, but a massive quantum stabilization array, a device designed to strengthen the fundamental forces that held reality together. As the intergalactic entities approached, humanity unveiled the true extent of their preparation. Hidden quantum arrays activated throughout the galaxy, many of them placed decades ago by automated constructors. Each human colony, each secret base, was part of a vast network designed to protect not just Earth, but all of local space. "We need your help," Chen addressed the aliens. "Our technology can reinforce space-time, but we need your civilization's combined power generation to activate the full network. This threat isn't just to humanity, it's to all of us." The response was immediate and unanimous. The hegemony's vast energy networks, the Concordat's zero-point collectors, the silicon consciousness's quantum processors, all were pledged to the defense of the galaxy. Species that had been suspicious of each other for millennia now worked together, coordinating through human quantum communication systems. As the reality-breaking entities reached the galaxy's edge, they encountered something unprecedented. A unified galaxy, defending itself with technology that bridged the strengths of all its civilizations. Humanity's quantum stabilization network, powered by the combined energy of 1,000 worlds, created a barrier that even reality-breaking entities couldn't penetrate. The battle for the galaxy's integrity lasted 3 days. The entities, unable to break through the reinforced fabric of space-time, eventually retreated to the void between galaxies. But their attempt had changed everything. In the aftermath, as representatives gathered again in the Concordat Council chamber, Ambassador Richards addressed the assembly. For centuries, humanity dreamed of uniting in the face of an alien threat. But what we found instead was something far more valuable: the opportunity to help unite all civilizations for our common survival. The galaxy would never return to its old ways. Humanity's revelation of their true capabilities had started the change, but it was their philosophy of preparation and cooperation that transformed civilization. The hidden fleet was hidden no more, but it had become something greater: the foundation of a unified galactic defense force. In her office beneath Mount Fuji, Admiral Chen received the final reports from the Quantum Observation Network. The reality-breaking entities had withdrawn completely, but the quantum sensors continued their vigilant watch. Humanity's 70 years of preparation had saved the galaxy, but Chen knew their work wasn't finished. "What do you think they'll try next?" Lieutenant Tanaka asked. Chen smiled as she watched ships from 100 worlds patrol the newly established quantum defense perimeter. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together." That's the real lesson humanity learned during our years of hiding. The greatest power isn't in weapons or technology, but in the ability to unite despite our differences. As she spoke, construction began on new quantum observation posts throughout the galaxy, built with the combined knowledge of all civilizations. Humanity's hidden preparations had become the foundation of something far greater: a galaxy united not by fear or force, but by the determination to face the unknown together. The age of secrecy was over. The age of unity had begun.